Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to paint your chameleon with underglaze while it is bone dry. So we are going to put it in the kiln with the underglaze on it. Underglaze is almost just like clay, but with a little bit of color in it. So it's okay to be added to the clay before it goes in the kiln. What we will do after it comes out of the kiln is add clear glaze, and that is what is going to make it almost like glass, and it's going to make it really glossy. So our colors are not going to look glossy right now, but the biggest thing to note when using underglaze to paint our chameleon that's bone dry is that we have to be so gentle with our chameleon. This is the point when it's bone dry that it's the most fragile. So maybe you did your tongue too thin, and so if you hit it the wrong way, then you could break it off. You just want to be so gentle. Maybe even saving the tongue to paint until after it comes out of the kiln could be a really good idea if it's thinner than my tongue is. Okay, so I picked a lot of the colors I want. You guys have a leaf. I don't know where my leaf went, so I can't do the leaf. But I'm going to show you how to kind of paint your chameleon. I'm going to pick colors. First of all, if I was doing a leaf, I would choose this color, just one color for the leaf, and make sure that you don't use that color in the chameleon. That way your chameleon can kind of stand out against the leaf. So I picked a couple colors that I really like. I have a yellow. I have this Chartreuse, which is a really pretty yellow green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all those colors on a little palette. That way I have them. You do not need that much. You need just a small amount of each color. But we need to make sure we don't mix the colors in the container because these are pretty expensive. They're more expensive than paint. So we need to make sure we take care of all the supplies we are given. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of the Chartreuse and put it on my palette. Awesome. And then I'm going to wipe my brush on the side. That way I can save all that paint. Then I'm going to rinse my brush and make sure I completely dry it before I go to pick my next color. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Okay, we're good. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick my next color. So I know I want to do kind of a ombre gradient from yellow to Chartreuse to one of these greens, or maybe both of the greens, and then to blue. So I have my yellow, I have my Chartreuse. Again, rinse off my brush really well. This is not watercolor, so my brush should not be wet. It should be completely dry at this point. So I'm going to dry it off. Then I can put my other colors off to the side that I've already used, because now someone else can use them. My next color I'm going to use is this warm green. So I will take a little bit of that, put it on my palette, and making sure that I can share with everyone. And I'm just wiping this off on the side so I can really use all of that, stirring it up a little bit first, grabbing all the green I need. With the green, I'm probably using more of it than the other colors, so I'm just gonna grab a good amount. Okay, I'm actually just gonna start with that for now, because I will grab the other colors when I'm closer to needing them. But for now, I'm just gonna use these three on my palette because we don't need to get every color that we're gonna use right now. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do a ombre gradient with your colors. First of all, with underglaze, you need to make sure that you do 3 coats. And every coat of the color needs to dry completely between each layer. That's actually a lot easier with bone dry clay because it makes everything you paint on it dry super fast. So that's gonna be really helpful for us. Okay, I'm gonna start with yellow, kind of on the back of my chameleon, more kind of at the top. So I'm doing yellow at the top. Remember, I'm gonna need to do 3 coats of this color, and it needs to dry completely between each layer. So it hasn't dried yet, but I'm just kind of adding in a little bit more. Okay, so I added my yellow. I have to wait for it to dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the Chartreuse. So I'm cleaning off my brush really well, wiping it off with my paper towel, then moving on to Chartreuse. I'm just gonna put that right next to the yellow. And I'm brushing it almost on the yellow a little bit. That way it can blend into the yellow. And notice how I'm doing this with my brush. I have to go like this to get it in all the little holes. Otherwise, it will not paint on the holes. Again, it's so important that we do 3 layers. If we don't do 3 layers, it's gonna look really splotchy and we're gonna have a lot of white space. So I will show you 2 examples in class of different things that have less layers, and you'll be able to tell why you need enough layers. We want the colors to look opaque, which means you cannot see through it. So I'm doing my 2nd layer of the Chartreuse now because it's drying really quick. Again, if I want the colors to blend, I have to do them kind of on top of each other just a little bit, so they're slightly overlapping. And again, going like this to get in all those nooks and crannies. Okay, so again, on mine, I'm doing a nice gradient from yellow in the middle to green on the sides, and then it's gonna go to probably like a blue and an aqua around the feet and the face area. Then I'm gonna paint the eyes. I want the inside to be kind of like a black, so he has a pupil, and the outside maybe just a green, the tongue pink. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna be painting him, and you can do it similarly. You can make it look like a chameleon from a Disney movie, like the one in Tangled or the one in Frozen 2. So whatever you wanna do, you can do for your chameleon. Again, just make sure that the chameleon is a different color than the leaf. Don't use the same green on the leaf and the same green on the chameleon, because then he's gonna be hidden and we won't be able to see our cutie little guy. All right, have fun.